I will just the questions separately in case, or if there's any other testimony. So has anybody got any questions? Sorry, I know that was a very quick run through, but most of you have heard this many, many times, and we do have recorded versions of our presentation available as well. If you want to share them with your friends who couldn't make it on the call, we have a YouTube channel, so all of our information is available there. But happy to answer any questions about the products, the drops, the Symbiofy, anything at all. It's all so quiet. It's good. Anyone else got any crazy good stories they'd love to share?
Can I have a question? Ask a question?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. There's been a couple of people had not the results they had expected, in terms of that they didn't notice much difference. And I was just wondering, would you recommend that they increase the dosage, or what would you?
Yeah. So generally the rule of thumb is like what you've heard tonight is there's lots of rapid results with the product. Some people are within minutes, hours feeling relief. Other people not so quickly because the constitution of their body is different. The way they metabolize things is different. The amount of fat storage they have is different. The difference between men and women actually in absorption is different. So the few rules of thumb that we have discovered are that you will increase the amount or split the dosage throughout the day so that you're getting more of a continuous hit of the curcumin in your body. Increase the drops. Sometimes lowering the drops actually helps, or change which one you're taking. So a lot of people will start out with one and then maybe shift to the other one and find that really makes a big difference to them, just the added synergy of the different components. And it's, again, duration. So any doctor would probably say if you're doing something, do it for a good 3 months because that's the time you need for cells to turn over. And we would say the same thing with this. So it's about amount, frequency, your specificity for your body and what your particular challenges are, and duration. Those would be the main things. We would say that just don't give up on the drops, just try a few workarounds, increasing, doubling. As I said, we've known people who go up to 30, 40 drops a day on these when they have a really severe health challenges. And that is making all the difference. And you don't need to do that long term. It's for a short period of time to help with the backlog, to help with the amount of inflammation going on in the body. And a couple of other really interesting things I'll just touch on with pain specifically. And I don't know what the situation is for your friends, but sometimes with pain, it's not easy always to register that sometimes there's a slow integration of feeling well and then not really remembering how bad the pain was before. So we've got a couple of videos with Justin, who's a wellness professional. He suggests always starting by making a pain scale and really rating, or if it's not pain, if it's injury or illness, giving yourself a proper measure that you can go back to and start to self-monitor week by week or every few days. And that gives you a more accurate measure because sometimes you kind of forget how bad things were when you start to get well. So there are just a few things that I could recommend.
Yeah, I took a drop underneath my tongue the other day. I think it lasted for a long time, but I felt suddenly deliriously happy that day.
You should all try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I think there's a lot to, and you've had, look, I know we've heard from you before, you've had some spectacular results with the drops. I think other people, sometimes there's also other factors like diet. What else can you be doing to support that well-being? Do you have other stress factors in your life that are overshadowing? There's lots of things. But what I love about the curcumin is it's a powerful plant medicine for a reason. It helps bring us back in touch with our bodies. It helps us take notice, because when you're trying something like this that has such a rave about it, this is really, really making waves. Your expectations are quite high and you're thinking, well, but certainly what it's going to help you do is start to tune into your body and monitor it and give it some attention. Am I feeling something? Is it changing? For me, when I started taking the drops in my coffee, I happened to be over in Melbourne. My new grandbaby was born, and I was doing the morning feeds at the bottle so that they could get a sleep in. So I had my routine with the drops, and I would just make notes in my phone. I would just pick up my phone, drink the drops in my coffee, and just feel what I could see changing, or throughout the day. If something registered and I thought, do you know what, I actually slept all through the night last night, I put that in my phone. I woke up this morning feeling that I didn't have the same type of neck and shoulder stiffness. I put that in my phone. And I was really diligent about monitoring the changes that I could feel in the moment, because sometimes you just get busy and you forget. And then I was able to collate that and have a fantastic testimonial that, you know, has changed my life. So, okay, anyone else?
Rebecca, I just wanted to say something in terms of, because this has come up quite a few people that are not getting the instant reactions. And I mean, I know I did. But one of the things that I noticed when talking to other of my team members, we were talking about skin once and how good hers was. And then I looked down and I realised I had seen before that I had these liver spots that were nearly joining up on my hands. And I looked down and I had virtually none, which to me just went, it's working my liver. I know, you know, I'm 71, so therefore my liver probably needs a lot of work. You know, and that was just, I wouldn't have even noticed apart from somebody else said it. And I went, oh, they're all gone. I can't do before and after pictures, but you know, it's like absolutely amazing. I don't feel, because I was feeling, no, I'm getting old, you know, liver spots and yeah, I'm like going, no, I'm not. You know, the hands are, yeah. So my liver stuff is happening in my liver, which I think is fantastic.
Incredible. And that's an important thing, because we all want the benefits of the symptom reduction, whereas the body's got to attend to the healing in its own innate intelligent way. And sometimes symptom reduction isn't the priority for the body, although that's what we would like. And so people say, are the drops working? Well, the point is your body's working and the drops are supporting that process with the potential of the drops. So yeah, that's lovely. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad about that. I've heard liver spots, age spots, skin tags falling off just after a number of weeks of drinking the you know, having the drops. So very exciting. Yes, you can put it on topically. If you're doing that, please use gauze or Glad wrap or something so that it doesn't stain your sheets. Because it is, you know, in India, turmeric is used as a dye. And obviously this isn't turmeric, it's curcumin, which comes from the turmeric. But yes, if you are using it topically on burns, bites, cuts, wounds, stings, you should also just wrap that in gauze or, you know, Glad wrap or something like that to protect it. So anyone else got any questions? Yep, Sandy? Sorry, I have two screens here of people and I can only, I'm flicking between to see who's putting their hand up.
Symbiofy. Question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm just wondering, like I've been on Symbiofy for 3 weeks and I'm about to finish my 3rd pack. I don't have any, but I'm going to order it. And I'm just wondering whether it's ideal to stay on some kind of a maintenance schedule with it, like one a day to follow, because I haven't done any probiotics for a long time. I've had cancer and all kinds of things. So I'm just wondering whether there's a recommended, you know, experiential kind of...
Yeah, I've heard same thing for the drops as the Symbiofy. So that's how they come, just to let you see that. It's a little sachets. So these are sealed. They don't need to be fridged because they're sealed. 4 a day is the recommended amount. And that's a 10-day, what they call a 10-day detox. So if you are relatively healthy and you just want to sort of a quick restoration of your gut and to restore the microbiome, then a 10-day amount is fine. If you have chronic health challenge, about 3 months of consistent Symbiofy is what's recommended. And if it's a moderate challenge, about a month consistently is what's recommended. And then 10 days every month after that. So now what you can do, we have a doctor on staff, so you can always email Angel Gabet at vitify.co. Maybe I'll just write that in the chat, and ask any health-related, medical-related questions that are specific to you, because obviously we're not doctors, we don't get paid to be doctors, we aren't trained in that field, so we can't answer medical questions per se, we don't want to have that burden of responsibility. But
No, I just wondered whether there was anything in the, recordings of people.
yep. And often what we find is that when we go to the testimonies on disruptive wellness, people through trial and error or through having had fantastic results will put down what they took. But the more you get in tune with your body, the more you'll know how to adjust that amount. But I find that the Symbiofy is very potent. So does my daughter. Four capsules for me is a lot. I usually start with one and then do that for a few days and then increase to 2 and then do that for a few days. And if you've got the combination of the drops and the Symbiofy, that's a very powerful combination. Be mindful when your body is healing and regenerating that you might have some detox cascade. So you need to help the body be able to eliminate whatever it's resolving in the body too. So you don't want to go too hard, too fast and feel worse, feel like you're clogged up, or that you need to just kind of allow the body to do what it needs to do without. So just being mindful that a detox effect or a Herxheimer reaction is possible. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the product. It actually probably means it's very effective, and that maybe you should slow it down, reduce the drops to half, space things out a little bit. If you're taking other medications or other supplements, it's a great idea not to take them at the same time as the drops. Just give space between. So if you normally take something regularly every lunchtime, take the drops in the morning. Try not to take them at the same time. Not because there's any negative effects, but there's a lot of reasons why. You can see really what's working. You can kind of give your body a chance to balance itself out with the other things. And the idea is ultimately, if possible, and I'm not a medical doctor, but if you're taking a lot of heavy medications that you'd like to be able to start reducing, go to your doctor, take the data sheet, take the drops, say, I'm starting to take this curcumin. Are you able to do some tests on me that we can repeat regularly so I can get my markers checked and start to, if all's looking really, really well, start to manage the amount of meds that we're on. So we've had that happen many times, and it's so happy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Andrew wants to ask a question. Here's Andrew. I have to find you over here. Still there with us, Andrew? Oh, maybe. If you are, you're on mute. I can't hear you. So maybe just try to unmute. Oh, there you are. I can see your face now. You're still... Oh, you're not on mute. Just can't hear your sound. It's not coming through. I just put Angel's contact details in the chat there, Penelope. Andrew, can you try? Are you having problems with the sound?
Andrew's on mute again.
Oh, okay. Unmute. Ask to unmute. There you go.
Ah, can you hear me now?
Hey, we got you.
Ah, yeah. It might have been because I had my earphones plugged in, actually.
Okay.
I just wanted to clear up something about there was a article that someone put on the Disruptive Wellness a few days ago about putting the drops in boiling water versus the lukewarm water, and they did an experiment, and the two colors actually came out different. So the lukewarm water, it wasn't so yellow, and they were talking about boiling water possibly destroying the micelle around the curcumin. I've done my own experiment with it, and it does alter the color. But in saying that, someone else put a photo up of their drink, and they said, "Well, I'll put mine in boiling water, and it's this color," So I just wanted to, I was just wanting to clear that up. That was all.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, that seems to be the information that's coming out, is don't put it in boiling water because it might disturb the micelle and start to degrade it before it has a chance to get into the body, which is obviously at a certain temperature. So the body's at a 37-degree temperature or whatever. Obviously, with boiling water, you're upping that significantly. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have it in my coffee in the morning. So usually, and I've found it super effective, and I haven't found
Mm.
that it's hasn't had been
Yep.
effective. But I
Yeah.
don't use boiling hot water because we have a coffee machine at home. So
Yep.
usually make it and then sit it there while I'm doing the milk, and then that's cooled it down probably a few degrees, and then pop the drops in, stir it around, and then add the milk. That's how I do mine. So
Yep.
I would say if you put it straight on the tongue or under the tongue, it's probably the most effective
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
all the ways you
Yep.
could take it, because it's getting straight into the bloodstream that way. It's also very close to
Yep.
the brain that way. It's going to get straight to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
blood-brain
yeah,
barrier.
yeah.
If
I
it's
haven't actually tried. Yeah, I haven't actually tried under the tongue yet.
good luck.
Probably because of the staining, But I guess I just
Yeah, you
wash
can
it
actually put
down
it down
or
closer to
something
the back
like
of your
that.
throat as well if you're worried about teeth staining. One thing I will say is if you've got veneers or false teeth, it can stain.
Mhm.
Doesn't always, but I have known a
Mm.
couple of people that have, been unhappy with the way it stained their teeth. It does come off, but you could put in veggie caps and swallow it. The main thing is then it's going more into the digestive system and being broken down, but it's still absorbed through the gut lining into the blood, which is really important. The fact that it's nano scale already, and the body is a nano machine, I suppose, that can only really absorb anything that's nano sized effectively into the cells, means that all the hard work for the body's been done already, and it doesn't have to go and break things down into smaller particles. So even if you're swallowing it in a veggie cap, I feel, and maybe I know we've got Gillian on here, you might be able to even comment, Gillian, on this if this is the case, but would you agree that you would have more benefits even if it went through the digestive system, because it's already nanoscale and it can get into the bloodstream? Oh, you're on mute, love.
Intuitively, that would make sense. Yeah.
Thanks. That's what I was going based.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Or put it, veggie caps if you need to.
Yep.
Or even in food. There's no reason why you can just put it in a banana, and that's what we have to trick our kids sometimes, putting it in a banana, or making gummy bears out of the drops and using a bit of natural gelatin and fruit juice, and then making little gummy bears and feeding that to your kids that don't want to take the drops, or making a golden sunshine milk, some mums call it. So there's lots of ways to be creative about it.
Cool, thank
if
you.
I could have it in an IV, I probably would.
Cool, thank you, Jess.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else got any questions?
Just a quick question about the availability from Mexico. If you were to order it, how long would it now take on average before it arrives here in New Zealand?
So we are actually getting, the only thing that's arriving from Mexico now is the backlog, and everything else that we'll be getting is coming from the US now. So we've got the manufacturing and the delivery from the United States, and that was as of the 15th, but they're dealing with their little bit of backlog for the United States orders. So I would say probably, would it be 3 weeks, maybe? Normally, when everything's up and running fine, there's no backlog, you're getting your product in 7 to 10 days from the US. But because of the little bit of the backlog, I would say you'd probably have to add another week to week and a half. They're usually getting through about a week worth of orders in one day. That's what I've heard. So they are catching up. So by the end of this week, hopefully they are caught up. I do have the stats on it. They've told us when they think they'll be caught up by, but I would say give it 3 weeks, which is better than what some people have had. We really, really did put a pressure on the supply chain when we opened in Australia and New Zealand, because we moved $100,000 worth of stock in 6 weeks, and they were shocked. But that made us very happy. So there's a huge demand for it, and that did put some pressure on the supply chain, but that's, they've tripled production and they're really close to opening now. So the USA orders are behind, yes, because they had that 15,000 units stocked in customs, and they're still there in customs. So they've had to make new product in the US, actually manufacture it and get it all bottled and everything. because they weren't able to rely on that 15,000 units. So that did put a bit of a halt on their supply. Extension still applies. The extension will, I think the extension will still apply for September. And then I think once they know that everything is running back to normal, there won't be any more extensions yet. I'm just checking the chat here if there's any extra things that I have missed. Got this response from Dr. Angel over this weekend, reboiling water. Is that somebody posting the response? Oh, sorry, yes. Is that the response there? Okay, so I'll just read this out. Hi, Lynn. The research laboratory in Germany conducted stability and reactivity tests with curcumin and determined that heating the product to 100 degrees Celsius or higher can cause thermal decomposition of the product and a loss of its effectiveness. You can dilute the drops in hot water, but not to 100 degrees Celsius or more. Oh, that's awesome. So that's very specific. Pretty much what we were saying, Andy, I think. If it's just down from the boiling temperature, it's not an issue. Great. Some people say they put it in cooking, and so that would probably again be an issue if you were heating your cooking up over 100 degrees. So maybe just do that. Fantastic, guys. Well, thank you for your fantastic attention and great questions and beautiful testimonies. It's always very inspiring to hear what people are experiencing. Hey, David, I see David Cochran. I see you there. We haven't met yet, but I've heard about you. Just saw your face there. How are you? Lots of you here. New faces that I haven't said. Oh, we've got one late question. Is it best taken on an empty tummy? Okay. Oh, actually, just in relation to that, in our Vita Wellness Global Hub, we've got guides, and one of the guides is all about the product dosage. There's a post there about dosage, and under that, in the comments, I've listed everything that I could find about any possible interactions with things, or tummy upset, or some people get diarrhea if they're starting to have detox reactions. So in that case, sometimes the curcumin plus can be great for stomach, and then sometimes it's really good for reflux, but sometimes people can have a sensitivity with the ginger. So in that case, you can take it with food. But anything I've ever found about this type of question, it'll be in that post in the comments. So I'll go and look for the dosage. Could probably quickly show you where that is. Maybe I can't. Let me see. No, I can't. I've got a different screen up, so I won't worry about that. But I would say not necessary to have it on an empty stomach. Some people take it at night. Some people take it first thing in the morning. Some people take it throughout the day, incrementally, just whatever they feel. Some people have it as needed. But I think only if you've got very specific other medication that you're taking that gives you, a problem with the stomach, you probably wouldn't take it at the same time. Wonderful. All right, I think we're winding up. Thanks, Jade. Lovely to see your face. Jude, everybody, wonderful. Yep, just stay tuned. We'll be here next Monday, and if there's anything else you need, you can find it in the hub for sure and reach out. And it's getting exciting, guys. We're getting so close to opening now. Can't wait. Be nice to be done with all these workarounds, won't it? That we have to, being grandfathered into the United States, and just things are constantly changing and adapting. But we are growing this market. This is what we've been doing. So all of us together, and I think we're going to be hugely rewarded. So great times ahead. And just Denise mentioned to me earlier, we had a few people from we've got Fasu is from PNG, and we just put up a fantastic testimony in the hub with her father, who had photos of his hand. So she's from PNG, and she's getting the product sent to her sister in Brisbane, I think, and then forwarded over. And then,
Wow.
a couple of new teammates over in where are they, Mum? In
Cook Islands.
Cook Islands. So they'll be getting the product to New Zealand and then shipped over. So people are starting to get very creative about how they can get their loved ones the product. And as I said, from New Zealand and Australia, we'll be going to Asia. But we need to get everything sort of systems running straight first. So might be a little way off. But yeah, huge potential. Is that? Thanks, Barbara. All right, guys, lovely to have you tonight. And we'll hopefully see all of you, most of you, some of you next Monday, and bring all your friends and family along. That'd be wonderful. Okay, take care.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.